Adam Schefter reported the news this morning. The NFL Players Association had already released a statement last night saying they would not appeal a suspension of Deshaun Watson. It's worth noting this is the first personal conduct policy case determined by Sue L. Robinson, who is the NFL's new disciplinary officer. The NFL now has 3 days to file a written appeal. If an appeal is made, Roger Goodell or his designee will make the final decision on the length Deshaun Watson's suspension. Let's dive into this one. And Shefty, what do you expect from the league over the next couple of days as it pertains to an appeal?
The league is in a tough spot because the league tried to remove itself from being in the business of deciding what is the proper discipline for players. In the 2020 collective bargaining agreement, both sides, the NFL and the NFLPA, jointly agreed that cases like this one would be heard by the retired federal judge Sue L. Robinson. And when she rendered that decision today, which the NFL was not happy about, the NFL now has 3 days to decide to appeal. If it appeals it, then Roger Goodell becomes the appeals officer, or one of his designees becomes the appeals officer. Either way, the NFL is all about the appeal, and then the league is right back to where it was before they shifted the power to Sue L. Robinson for decisions like this, and it would undermine her first decision in that role. On the other hand, if the league doesn't appeal it, then it's sending a message that behavior like this, the league is okay with and is accepting of it, despite the fact that the judge said in her decision today that essentially the NFL won the case and proved that Deshaun Watson was guilty of sexual assault and putting others in danger's way and damaging the reputation of the league and himself. So it's a difficult spot for the league to be in. It will have to make that decision here over the next 3 days.
We'll follow it closely, and you mentioned some of the details from the 15-page report released by Robinson, but what more can you add about how she came to her decision on a 6-game ban?
Listen, she said, like we said, that in her mind, the NFL proved that Deshaun Watson was guilty of sexual assault, that he did pose that danger, that he put his reputation and the league's reputation at risk. But in the end, when she decided the punishment, she felt like the NFL had set precedent. There had been 21 other cases of players getting 6-game suspensions from 2015 to 2020. Those involved violence. And in this particular case, the judge pointed out that this was non-violent behavior from Deshaun Watson, as critical as she was of his behavior. And so therefore, when she equated this case to other cases, she felt like 6 games was the comparison to make, and that was the discipline that she handed down in the end based off the decisions and discipline that the NFL handed out to previous players in the past.
Well, suffice it to say, everybody has been talking about this decision throughout the day. So, Mina, I'm going to turn to you. What was your reaction when you not only saw the 6 games, but also the 15-page report?
Yeah, when I first saw the 6 games, I was surprised. It seemed low given the volume. Obviously, they didn't consider all of the cases, just 4 of them, and the severity of the allegations. But Field, I wanted to read the report. And having read it, and I encourage everyone watching to go look at it, I find her ruling to be utterly incoherent and confusing, frankly. So first she lays out the allegations, many of which we're familiar with. The NFL accuses Watson of going into these sessions with a sexual intent, bringing a towel that couldn't cover him, ejaculating on the woman. These are details that have been widely reported in the settlements and outside news stories for a very long time now. What is more significant to me was her own findings. And as Adam laid out, she found essentially the NFL proved its case, that Watson did engage in unwanted touching, that he knew it was unwanted, that the NFL met the burden of a civil suit to prove sexual assault took place. She calls his behavior predatory and even says he can only work with in-house massage therapists from now on. I find this incredibly difficult to square with her ultimate conclusion, which was based on Preston, but also her own interpretation that what took place was not violent. Field, the CDC defines sexual violence as sexual activity where consent is not freely given. I don't understand how she felt. The behavior she lies out in painstaking detail did not meet that standard, and I suspect many people who know victims of sexual violence, who have been victims themselves and survivors, probably feel the same way today.
Yeah, Mina, well said. Ever since the report came out, it doesn't make sense to me. Like trying to understand it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm trying to wrap my head around the logic, because this is not my opinion. This is her words and her finding and report. And when she uses the phrase, his behavior was his behavior is egregious, then how does he get to play more games this year than he doesn't get to play? How does he get his $45 million this year when you deemed that his behavior was egregious? It's hard for me, because I feel like we're losing like the human aspect of this, like
no doubt.
You can't expect me to read her report on the findings and not sit there and go like, holy smokes. The phrase that took me back
right there on the screen, right?
When she wrote, he used status as an NFL player as a pretext to engage in premeditated pattern of predatory behavior. How am I not supposed to read that and not wrestle with the difficulty that he only gets 6 games? That is not an opinion. That is not me saying he's guilty, or that is her findings off the evidence that was presented to her.
Yeah.
And I think hearing that and the NFL's reports saying that they were pushing for a year, I find it, and I understand what Shefty is saying from the jump, I find it impossible for them not to appeal, given reading what she determined from her findings or her reporting.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.